The first time Caleb heard the whispers, he was only 8 years old. They came in the dead of night, slithering through his veins like cold fire, curling around his heart like unseen fingers. He told his mother, but she dismissed it as a bad dream. By the time he turned 17, the whispers had grown louder. They spoke in a language he didn't understand but felt in his bones, a low, rhythmic chant that pulsed with his heartbeat. At times, he swore he could hear voices in the silence, see movement in the shadows. He stopped sleeping. His family had always been odd. His grandmother kept vials of dried herbs and animal bones above the fireplace. His uncle never went outside when the moon was full, and his mother, his quiet, soft-spoken mother, always flinched when he brought up the whispers. On the eve of his 18th birthday, the whispers turned into screams. They dragged him from sleep, writhing and gasping, his veins burning. He stumbled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on his face, only to freeze when he saw his reflection. His eyes were black, not just the irises, the whole eye, drowning in darkness. He stumbled back, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The whispers coiled around his mind like a living thing, hissing, calling. He clenched his fists, nails digging into his palms. Find the blood, find the truth. The words weren't just in his head, they were coming from behind him. He spun around, but the bathroom was empty, only the long hallway beyond, lined with family portraits. Except, one of them wasn't right. At the end of the hall, a painting he had never seen before hung on the wall. It was old, the edges worn and cracked, depicting a man in dark robes with hollow, bottomless eyes. Caleb felt something inside him tighten. He knew this man. He had never seen him before, but he knew him. He stepped closer, drawn to the painting like a moth to flame. As he reached out, the whispers surged, rising into a deafening roar. His fingers brushed the frame, and the world collapsed. He was no longer in the hallway. The air was thick, oppressive, filled with the scent of rot and damp earth. A dim, flickering light illuminated the stone walls around him, stretching into an endless corridor. He turned, disoriented, his breath quickening. He was somewhere else. The whispers coiled around him, guiding him forward. His feet moved on their own, carrying him deeper into the suffocating darkness. The corridor ended at a massive, iron door, its surface covered in ancient symbols. Blood unlocks the path. Caleb barely had time to register the thought before his palm split open on its own, a thin line of crimson welling up. His blood dripped onto the iron, sinking into the grooves like ink on parchment. The door shuddered. It swung open with a groan, revealing a chamber lined with bodies, not rotting corpses, but suspended figures, men and women, their eyes black like his, their mouths open in silent screams. In the center of the room stood the man from the painting. Caleb couldn't breathe. The man watched him with an unsettling stillness, his face devoid of emotion. Then, finally, he spoke. "You have returned." Caleb staggered back, shaking his head. "Who are you?" The man tilted his head. "I am what runs through your veins. You were never meant to be free of me." The whispers reached a fever pitch, swelling in his skull. Images flashed through his mind, a great altar, an ancient ritual, a sacrifice. He saw himself standing before the robed man, kneeling in blood-soaked robes. "You are one of us," the man said, stepping forward. "You always have been." Caleb's chest tightened, his breath coming in short gasps. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. But his blood said otherwise. And then he remembered. The whispers weren't invading him, they were waking him up. This place, this man, the ritual, it was all buried inside him, waiting. He wasn't the victim, he was the heir. The realization hit like a thunderclap, and the fear inside